Drawing in a sketchbook can feel quite intimidating for a lot of us because we know that other people are probably going to look at it. If you carry your sketchbook around, or even if you just leave it at home, people in your life are probably going to look at it and you want to impress other people. And I know that that can feel very, very intimidating. I think it's why a lot of us struggle to fill out sketchbooks with ease. But this one trick has really helped me get over that, and I don't have problems drawing in my sketchbook anymore because I've taken on this strategy. And the main strategy that I've been using is that I break up my sketchbook page into multiple sections. So instead of doing one big drawing per page, I do multiple drawings on the same page. Now, obviously, you might have to change the size of your sketchbook to make this happen. But I feel like if I do many drawings on one page, I only need one of them to be half decent to like justify that page, to make it seem like I'm a good artist. I just need one of them to stand out, and that will just make it so much easier to fill out a sketchbook because I don't feel as much pressure to make each drawing good. I just need one single sketch on a full page to look decent. Now, obviously, this doesn't overcome the issue completely. We do want to let go of our expectations overall if we can, but I think this is a good strategy to use in the beginning so that like you can just ease into it a little bit. You know, I do think that our expectations are quite hard to deal with, so I don't expect you to like suddenly change all your expectations all at once, but using a couple of these kinds of strategies can help a lot. I do find that if I think of my sketchbook page as a collage of drawings instead of a single drawing, it makes it so much easier just to like feel free in my drawing, so that like even if I'm halfway through a sketchbook page and they're all ugly drawings, I still don't feel as much pressure because I'm like, well, I only need one of these to work, and so if only one comes out half decent, it's totally fine. One thing that you can also keep in mind is that you don't have to share your sketchbooks. I know that having a book feels very official, but you can just decide not to share your sketchbook. Now, that's easier said than done. I think a lot of us desire the sharing of drawings, right? If you feel like your art practice is a reflection of who you are deep inside, then you're going to want people to see it. Like, you want to feel seen, you want to feel understood. And sharing your work is one way that us artists like to do that, especially because a lot of us are not the best with words. So expressing ourselves through the visual language is so much more effective. But that also means that we're being very vulnerable whenever we share our work. And that does develop these expectations around our practices that can be difficult to deal with. I don't know how to deal with that fully. Like, I do think that for each of you, depending on your personality and depending on what stage of life you are in, that's all going to differ, right? How you deal with those expectations is going to be different for each of you. If you're completely new to drawing, I do recommend that you keep your art practice secret for as long as you can, or at least go through phases where you don't share your art practice. So I have people in my life who will see my artwork, but there are times where I'm like, I'm not okay with you looking through my work right now because I'm in a sensitive place. So I'll not show my sketchbooks to people. I'll not show my recent drawings until I'm in a better headspace. So if I'm feeling bad about my art, I might not share my work because I know I'm going to be extra sensitive. But you might also want to curate who you share your work with, right? So let's say you are in a sensitive place about your art practice. You might decide that like, hey, I have certain friends that I know will hype me up. I know these friends will like get behind my back and be the wind in my sails and like really push me to be like, hey, no, your work is amazing. What are you talking about? And sometimes having those supportive voices can be very helpful. But I do think that for a lot of us, we probably don't have that. I have certain friends that are that, and I know if I turn to them and show my work, they'll hype me up, and that feels really good. But there are times where I'm just like, hey, no, you know what? My art practice is for me right now. I can't share any of my work. Now, obviously, it's a little bit more complicated because I share my work with you guys, but grappling with these expectations and finding strategies to help you deal with these expectations can be very helpful and can make you feel so much more freedom in your art practice. So if you do struggle with expectations, sit down and think about where your expectations come from. How can you come up with some strategies that make it a little bit easier? This like treating each page like it's multiple drawings instead of one drawing can be one strategy, one trick that helps you a little bit. But ultimately, we do kind of have to sit down and deal with our expectations. So if you are an artist that struggles with perfectionism, because that's ultimately what this is like the desire to show a perfect side of us. If you are someone who struggles with that, check out the free lesson in the link below, because I'll talk a lot about perfectionism, honestly, because it's something that I grapple with for a long time. It's something I've struggled with a ton, so check out the free lesson below. And whenever you are ready, I'll see you in my 4-hour artist course, where we do deal with our expectations. That's one of the first things that we do. Then we also build out a creative voice outline, which is kind of like you're finding your art style. Then we build out like a project outline for a mini project so that we can actually start making art that we care about. If you're interested in that, check out the link below, and I'll see you in the next lesson. Bye.